Hello, today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2013. This is another broadcast of Radio Bravery. I'm your host, Justin Belsham, and we've got quite a handful of news to talk about today. So let's see, the first off and most important subject I'd like to get into is the talks about a strike on Syria. I'm sure if you've been watching mainstream media at all recently, then you know all about how this is pretty much all that is going on worldwide. This is the number one talk in world politics right now. If you have not heard about this, then you've obviously been too busy watching the VMAs and paying attention to Miley Cyrus doing her whore dancing in public to take away your attention from the real subjects. This is not by accident that this happens at the same time. This is not by accident that meek, stupid celebrity news takes over mainstream media in the midst of an actual worldwide crisis. So first article I want to bring into view is from WND.com, WorldNet Daily. And this is a link to an article from the Wall Street Journal, and it goes into, the headline is "Strike on Syria Looks Likely." This is from the Wall Street Journal again, and it goes on to say that Arab leaders said Tuesday that Syria had used chemical weapons against its population while Western governments discussed military responses to the attacks. There's a widespread speculation right now online on a lot of different news websites about the fact that these are Western-backed attacks, and these were not Syrian attacks. Syria did not attack their own population with chemical weapons, but these are actually Al-Qaeda and Wahhabist attacks that are being funded by the Western governments and NATO. The Arab League demanded an international response to what it called the heinous crime of last week's alleged chemical attack near Damascus, that activists and rebels said left more than 1,000 Syrians dead. But the U.S.'s major Arab allies have stopped short of offering public support for a strike without international backing, reflecting broad unease in the region about another Western military intervention. Basically, what we need to pay attention to is the fact that Russia and China have both publicly come out making statements in the previous months this year that if we attack, invade, or intervene with anything to do with Syria or Iran, that they will attack us and defend Iran or Syria. This is absolutely crucial that we do not intervene in Syria. Russia and China, especially together, let alone apart, are very much probably more powerful than America right now, and this is going to be an insane World War III if we go through with this intervention in Syria. So that brings me to my next article, entitled "Saudis Pressure Russians to Drop Syria." And this is about, we'll just go on to read a bit of the article here for you. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Saudi intelligence chief Prince Bandar bin Sultan held a secret meeting in July in which sources say the Saudi prince sought to make a deal with Putin for more oil investments and oil price stability in exchange for Russian withdrawal of support for the embattled regime of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Sources describe the meeting stormy at best. Putin and Bandar agreed, at least, that the region stretching from North America to Chechnya and Iran through Syria, as well as all the Middle East, was the subject of a major U.S.-Russian standoff. Sources say Bandar, who is paying for the Sunni uprising stretching from Syria into Iraq, suggested that his offer of oil price stability and investments in exchange for the Russians to stand aside and let the Sunnis take over Syria by ousting Assad was in coordination with the U.S. and its European partners. Now, the powers which the Sunnis are exposing their strong hand, their strong arm of the Sunni rebellion in Syria currently is Al-Qaeda. It comes from Al-Qaeda backing and Al-Qaeda roots, and it is absolutely Western funded. And Russia knows this, and they're absolutely pissed about this. They're not going to stand for this, and we are on the verge of World War III right now. Bandar reportedly went so far as to guarantee the protection of the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia. Again, this is basically a threat to Russia. The Saudis are currently threatening Russians with lack of protection during their Olympics in Sochi if they do not drop aid to Syria and stop putting troops on the ground in Syria, which they're currently doing, unloading Russian troops right now in Syria for the protection of the country. There are also areas of Russia which are being evacuated currently for their own safety because of the potential attacks that may happen because of backing Syria. So Russia, China, Syria, and Saudi Arabia are all currently preparing for war, another world war. And we must be aware that this is a very strong possibility. The mainstream media has been discussing this week about the potential strike in Syria today or tomorrow. This is very, very scary. Obviously, it's shocking and, hard to believe and hard to back, but we need to at least keep a thumb and keep tabs on this and make sure that this doesn't happen under our noses. Now, check out WorldNet Daily, and please go do your investigation yourself on this matter. WorldNet Daily, in my opinion, is the #1 source of this news currently. You can also check out Drudge Report. The Wall Street Journal has been writing some fairly unbiased articles on the subject, and of course Infowars.com. Now, the next article I want to get to obviously hits a lot closer to home. This is from naturalnews.com, written by J.D. Hayes, and the title of this article goes like this: Public school is now officially a prison for your children, semicolon. Parents not allowed to walk with kids to class anymore. There's something to be said about wanting to keep our children safe from harm. Let's see here. This is per CBS, Connecticut. All of the extra security is in response to what happened nearly 9 months ago at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. It was December of last year when a gunman opened fire at the school, killing 20 students and 6 adults. Parents are now being asked to stay at the curb and no longer are allowed to walk their kids to school. The new security policy for Hearst Euless Bedford, the independent school district, will be for their first week of class. It will go into effect after that. The only reason it will not go into effect immediately in the first week is because enrollment and registration will be taking place that first week, and they will be allowing the parents to come in for enrollment and registration to help their children get registered properly. But the new policy is just another way of public schools injecting themselves into the traditional parent-child relationship. This horrible policy is sending the message to kids that their parents can't keep them safe, only the school can. It's obviously upsetted quite a few mom and dads so far. Quote, I really want to take my son to class since it's his first time in school, Tamara Moore told the local CBS affiliate. They may have security, but I want to know where my kid is going at all times. I don't know if I'd quite agree with that quote myself, but point being is parents should have the right to parent their children any way they want. They should have a right to walk their children anywhere they want, and that seems like the most common sensible thing to do is to allow parents to be with their children. But no, the school is obviously trying to become a strong hand for the state, and the state owns your child, not you. The relationship between parent and child is now between state and child, and you are just the financial provider for that child, which you'll be forced to give them horrible Western medicine healthcare through Obamacare, but you can't walk them to school. Quote, as long as I can see him walk along the building, that will be fine, because once he's in the building, they'll take care of him, Angela Shamblin said. That's right, just how they've always taken care of children, by dog training them and teaching them how to get a treat faster. This is awful. I don't think we need to go into it for much more detail, but in Connecticut right now they are making a move to make it illegal for parents to walk their children to class. Check out naturalnews.com to learn more about that site, and there are about 5 red links to that, to sources for that article of different local news organizations who have been covering it. Next thing I want to get to is entitled, an article written by Kit Daniels from Infowars.com, and it's entitled, Young Deputy Sheriff Guns Down Air Force Vet in His Own Garage. Funeral arrangements are currently underway for a 68-year-old Air Force veteran who was gunned down in his own garage by young Blount County, Tennessee Deputy Sheriff. Henry C. Taylor was inspecting his garage late at night after it had been robbed multiple times in the past week. Outside, Deputy Ernest Ragland, 22 years old, peeked through the window and spotted Taylor with his handgun. That's when Ragland yelled at Taylor before shooting him multiple times, instantly killing the homeowner and veteran. Ragland had been outside inspecting the property after Taylor's wife reported the most recent break-in to police 3 hours earlier. So he had had a break-in, he had had multiple break-ins in the past week, and there had been one more 3 hours before this incident, when he was obviously scared for his own protection and carrying his own handgun on his own property, inspecting his own property. Quote, I started hearing some arguing before the shots. Kayla Croy, who rented a mobile home from Taylor for 6 years, heard the shooting. Quote, I heard some arguing before the shots, Crow said. Then, when the shots actually happened, it was like boom, 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 boom. After the shooting, police arriving at the scene told another neighbor who was out walking his dog to get back inside his house. Which, it's obviously not illegal to be walking your dog, and you don't have to follow an unlawful order of get back inside your house. I'm absolutely sick of officers making unlawful orders and saying that they can arrest you because you didn't follow the order of a police officer or an official, a police official. This is disgusting, and we should absolutely stop following these unlawful orders. This is the reason why cops are giving more unlawful orders every day, is because we allow them to do it, and we do what they say, even though it is unlawful, and we do not need to do this. They can try to take us to jail, but we will win every time. We need to force this to not be allowed. Let's see. Taylor's obituary states that in addition to serving with the Air Force for 20 years, Taylor worked as a mail handler for the U.S. Postal Service for 22 years, was an amateur radio operator, and retired as a captain of the Tennessee State Guard. This guy had given everything to this country and given everything to being a good guy, a hard-working guy. 68 years old, just trying to protect his own property, gunned down because some nosy officer decided to spy through his windows and shoot the wrong guy. This story is eerily similar to the Fort Worth police shooting we reported, Infowars reported past May, in which 2 officers shot 72-year-old Jerry Wayne Waller 6 times on his own property. This is becoming way too familiar. A police affidavit for that situation later said that the officers, quote, went to the wrong house because of poor lighting and ended up shooting someone incorrectly 6 times and killing them. So this is just a joke. This is not okay. These people should be fired. They should never be able to have a police job again. If you're that stupid and ignorant that you go into the wrong house because of poor lighting and shoot somebody, then you should be absolutely held responsible. You should be put in jail because you are an idiot and you should not have a badge. You should not have a gun. This is a joke. Alright. Next article. Moving on. Go to Infowars.com. Check that out. Young deputy guns down Air Force vet in his own garage. 68 years old. Next article I want to get into is another Infowars gem, and it is entitled "Facebook Succumbs to 38,000 Government Requests for User Info in 2013." Oh yes, and I don't know. If you've all heard the quote from Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, or CIA book, whatever you want to call it, FBI book. They are basically run by the CIA, Facebook is, and all their information is absolutely filtered by the CIA. It is basically a program that was meant to create a better database of people, faces, facial recognition, tagged nice webs of groups of people you know. There is definitely a reason why this came out of nowhere, was funded out of nowhere, had money out of nowhere, blew up out of nowhere, became worldwide out of nowhere, and is still going on even through the lawsuits of how it was created from the supposed alleged theft, intellectual theft of Mark Zuckerberg from the twins that he was working with when he created Facebook. But he has nice protection from the U.S. government because he's succumbing to 38,000 government requests a year. The government says they request Facebook data for both criminal investigations and national security matters. So this is an article by Julie Wilson at Infowars.com, and this was written yesterday. Facebook has recently released statistics revealing how often the government requests information on its users. During the first half of this year, the year's not even over, this is only in the first half of the year, Facebook has released approximately 38,000 users' information to 74 different countries. Half the requests originated from government officials inside the United States. The numbers are not exact because the government prohibits companies from revealing how many times they ordered to turn over information about their customers, reported the Associated Press. Google and Microsoft released similar data in June, exposing thousands of requests to government officials during the second half of 2012. Facebook answered about 10,000 government requests during the last 6 months of 2012, affecting the accounts of roughly 20,000 people. This was reported by Fox News. And if you go online to Infowars.com and check this article out personally, the title is "Facebook Succumbs to 38,000 Government Requests for User Info in 2013. And this has 5 different source links to it, which you can check out and go to the Associated Press, Fox News, and others. Let's see. In June, Facebook was accused of providing the NSA direct access to the company's servers through the PRISM program, but Facebook creator Mark Zuckerberg denied even knowing of the program, which is an absolute joke. Mark Zuckerberg probably personally signed off on letting the program enter Facebook right away. And the quote I was getting to was the quote where Mark Zuckerberg was quoted saying that if you think that you have privacy on Facebook, then you're a dumb effer. Go look that up. That's a loving quote from Mark Zuckerberg. Such a great evil minion. According to Zuckerberg, Facebook was not part of any program that gave the U.S. government access to their servers. He also said they never received a blanket request from any government agency asking for metadata in bulk. AP's report says the social media giant released data 60% of the time in response to government requests. The exact user information provided is unknown. Last week it was revealed that Facebook and other tech giants received millions for their compliance in the prison program, so obviously Mark Zuckerberg is a liar there. The top secret material released to The Guardian proved for the first time a financial relationship between the social media hub Facebook and the NSA did exist and does exist. So there is an absolute financial relationship between the NSA and Facebook for millions of dollars for compliance in the prison program. I will say that again, one more time. There is a financial relationship of millions of dollars between the social media hub Facebook and the NSA for compliance with the PRISM program. So no trusting Facebook, no more trusting Mark Zuckerberg, a certified liar. He has just been proven a liar. Facebook has been accelerating their own data collection as well, as InfoWars reported on Facebook's new policy collecting users' photo identification cards, suspending and or deleting accounts that failed to comply. User compliant patterns indicate Facebook tends to target those especially who promote transparency of government and support the Constitution. Facebook has become the watchdog for dissidents in social media, censoring and deactivating accounts as they see fit. Yet Fox News argues that Facebook, Google, and Microsoft have a unique alliance in which they've pressured the government to loosen their legal gag on government surveillance orders. Sorry, Fox News, but that's wishful thinking. Moving on, the last article I want to get to is probably the next most important article in the bunch, and that's why I'm ending on it. And this is another article from Mike Adams, the health ranger at naturalnews.com, one of the best sites around and one of my most linked to and talked about sites because they are amazing. naturalnews.com, check them out. This is an article from the Health Ranger, Natural News editor Mike Adams, and it's entitled Fukushima in Freefall. Radioactive water filters taken offline, TEPCO in desperation as leaks just won't stop. After a 29-month cover-up, the Tokyo Electric Power Company, TEPCO, is now calling for international help and has all but admitted Fukushima's radiation leaks are spiraling out of control. In addition to the leaking water storage units that are unleashing hundreds of tons of radioactive water each day, TEPCO now says 50% of its contaminated water filtration capability has been taken offline due to corrosion. The result is that radiation leaks are escalating out of control and attempted remediation efforts are faltering. This is in addition to the fact the Japanese government's attempted brainwashing propaganda campaign has been exposed. The Japanese government attempted to convince the people that if they drank beer or smiled more, they would be immune to the radiation poisoning. Yes, this is true. You can find the videos on YouTube, and it's not a joke. The Japanese government has released propaganda videos saying that if you drink more beer and if you smile more, smile more and the radiation will not affect you. You're safe. I'm safe from radiation. I might as well go swim in it because I'm smiling and I've got a beer next to me, so I'm good. This is great. Yeah, delicious. Yes, Japanese government, you are so great. Thank you. The result is that radiation leaks are escalating out of control and attempted, From day one, the Fukushima fiasco has been all about denial. As BusinessWeek.com now reports, Japan seems to have no practical interest in solving this problem. Quote, Russia's nuclear company, Rosatom, of which Rosengoatom is a unit, sent Japan a 5 kilogram 11 pound sample of an absorbent that could be used at Fukushima almost 3 years ago. Asmolov said it also formed working groups ready to help Japan on health effect assessment, decontamination, and fuel management, among others. The assistance was never used. That's because for TEPCO to welcome any assistance, it would first have to admit it had a problem. And that's unacceptable in a business culture where egos run rampant and the idea of taking responsibility for your actions is considered aberrant. To save their own careers, TEPCO experts would gladly sacrifice the health of millions of Japanese citizens and are currently doing so. 27 families have now filed suit against TEPCO. The problem with denial in the face of a world-class radiation disaster is that sooner or later the body bags start to pile up. Now 74 people from 27 families are filing suit in the Osaka District Court seeking 15 million yen each for psychological and physical damage. And they're the lucky ones who are still alive, you know. Just look at the actual amounts of deaths and sicknesses people are seeing in Japan. It's horrible, horrible. As the Japan Times reports, the group will argue that TEPCO should have taken stronger measures to protect the Fukushima No. 1 nuclear plant from earthquakes and tsunami after the government's headquarters for earthquake research promotion warned in 2002 that there was a 20% chance of a magnitude 8 or so earthquake occurring in the Japan Trench in the Pacific Ocean within the next 30 years. Now that the fishing ban has been reinstated, the fishermen are absolutely angry. They've obviously believed that TEPCO has been lying to them for weeks, if not months. You know, they seem to suggest that the cover-ups could get worse. They believe TEPCO is probably sitting on more secrets, and they don't want to know about it. Basically, you can check out, you should first check out naturalnews.com to get some more information on this. It has sources including CTV News, ABC.net, Business Week, Japan Times, and many others. Fukushima is in freefall. The radioactive water filters have been taken offline, 50% of them, half. You can check out more articles that I've read lately about the fact that most of this radiation is coming to the western coast of Oregon, Washington, and Northern California. Oregon mainly actually being the key point in where this is happening. The FDA is refusing to test fish in the ocean for radioactivity. They're refusing to acknowledge the problem, even though radiation has been found in milk in Colorado, Oregon, and Utah, because of the soil, because of the ionosphere carrying the radiation over here and raining it down in our country. This needs to be solved right now, immediately, as soon as possible. They need to go to Russia and take their advice and take their help. That would be a great start. But the biggest thing we can do right now is to force this into the mainstream media and force this to be a mainstream subject once again, because they're letting this go, just like the BP oil spill is still affecting the Gulf today. Fukushima is about 100 times worse, and they say it's about 1,000 times worse than Chernobyl. So we need to focus on this, and we need to not ignore this any longer. This is the devastating problem for our planet and for our biosphere as a planet Earth. We are in danger. Our biosphere of species, plant species, animal species, and human life is all in danger and in jeopardy right now. Fukushima holds the fate of the world, the fate of this planet in its hands, in these nuclear plants, and in all other nuclear plants that are potentially leaking. They say over 70-something%, I'm not sure the statistic off the top of my head, but majorly, the absolute majority of nuclear plants in the world are leaking right now, and we need to do something about it. This is scary, devastating, and we're about to hit World War III on top of this. So wake up, people. This is not right. We are not doing enough. We are not doing anything, really, when it comes to physically changing things and mentally changing our attitudes towards these subjects. We need to fight. We need to wake up. We need to stand up. We need to not let this go on anymore. I will see you guys tomorrow. I will be back once again for a broadcast, and I am Justin Belsham, and this is Radio Bravery, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Percent of bank robberies take place on a Friday. Women blink nearly twice as much as men. Elvis never ever gave an encore. The number of wars fought between countries that both have at least one McDonald's is 0. Every 5 minutes, an area of rainforest the size of a football field is eliminated. Women who read romance novels have sex twice as often as those who don't. Did you know that a can of Diet Coke will float in water while a can of regular Coke will sink? The Muppet Show was banned from TV in Saudi Arabia because one of its stars was a pig. Males, on average, think about sex every 7 seconds. More than 50% of the people in the world have never made or received a telephone call. Syphilis has risen 500% in the last 6 years in Europe. Why is it that everybody seems to get older, except for Cliff Richard?